I'm back at Amogla camp and I got a little job to do. I gotta fix those stairs. They've just gotten too rotten, but I've also noticed they don't line up with the deck very well. And that's because the deck, this corner is sagged down, so that's the first thing I gotta fix to make the geometry a little simpler. So it's a wee bit higher than I needed to, so I think I need the stomping crew now. Okay, you gotta stomp right there. Right there, and you jump up and down.
Right here.
Not heavy enough. Right here. Given that this board is one of the few attachment points and how rotten it is, I think I have to replace that too. So unfortunately I have a bit of a step because this is thicker, but I'll solve that by raising this board up a little bit so I don't get a tripping hazard right here. Perfectly level. Considering how rotten the end of this beam was, it's actually still quite usable, and I only cut this much off of it. I just screwed this part onto this part that I just made, and that will be the attachment point for the steps. I'm not screwing anything together permanently yet because I'm still figuring this out. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to build these stairs. I like the design of the old one, which essentially has a 2x4, a real 2x4 though, and these triangles on there for the stringers because there's not that much space above this foundation block here. But to do it that way requires that I have this extra level step at the very top, which is a step I shouldn't need. So if instead I put the stringer 2x4s under like this, then that can be the edge of my first step and I save a bit of wood that way and I get a lower slope. I totally hadn't planned it that way, but the triangles I need happen to be exactly the width of a 2x8, so that works out really nicely. That doesn't look too bad. It doesn't come all the way down to the ground, but with all this uneven crap, I'll want a platform there anyways. This is the right spot for the stringer. Now I need to screw a support on the bottom for it to rest on. Oh, shit. It's starting to look like steps. But I made one mistake. I forgot to account for the thickness of this, so the top step is a bit smaller. Now with that support moved back so the steps are lower, I'm hitting this old foundation here. So I gotta chip away a bit more of that. That's looking pretty good now. Next I need to make a small platform down here. But before I do that, it's evident that this deck has shifted this way a little bit. And I realized that's not because the deck was placed incorrectly. When I had some people replace the original cement posts, which had also shifted too much with this stuff, it's because all the posts are leaning this way a little bit because there's no side-to-side bracing. Also, these middle two posts right there, those don't even touch the deck, so I think we'll take those out. And the nephews have been playing with a slack line, so I think we'll use that slack line to pull that deck over towards the minivan and then add some bracing. So I got some help now, and as a result I totally missed filming when we pulled the deck this way with a ratchet strap. But that made it come out on this side So now I've got the ratchet strap tied on here, or slack line. It's tied to the deck, goes underneath the cottage, and the foundations are not suitable anchor points. So I attached it to the wheel of the minivan to have something to pull against. And this was the previous attempt at pushing that deck back in. Didn't work that well. And then I got some more help while I was finishing up the base of the stairs, and that made filming difficult. Here I'm just showing how I did the base of the steps, trying to avoid ground contact with the wood to avoid more rot.
Look, this is as high as I'm making it.
Yes, can you climb up there?
Or I could sit on it. Or it could be a big seat.
Jump some more. Every step.
Well, it's definitely rated for 40 pounds. Yeah.
And here's the new steps done. And the substructure of the deck is also braced a lot more with the middle posts removed so that it's stable and not in danger of tipping off of its posts. And the deck has got this minor repair here. The key to things like decks is it doesn't rot at a consistent rate. So if you're willing to fix just a few spots that are rotten, you can easily double the lifetime of a structure like this. This one happens to be 33 years old. And this is sort of the opposite philosophy that somebody like April Wilkerson would take, which is just tear down and replace everything. I've seen so many decks torn out where most of the material was still good. Just fixing the bad parts, it saves so much time and money. And when you only have limited time and you're somebody who says it has to be redone, well then nothing gets done. And this way it's still usable. And speaking of half-assed fixes, look at the foundations underneath here. They're all very crooked and they've been braced. Basically the soil here, there's a lot of frost heaving and we didn't know what we were doing when we made those. And so the cottage was actually in danger of tipping off of its foundations. And back in 2009, that is 12 years ago, I kind of re-leveled everything because it was getting really crooked, and I braced these foundations and like, well, let's see how long it lasts. Turns out 12 years and it's still going strong, so there could be another 10 years in this foundation hack. It's surprising how long that has lasted. But these foundations truly are a horrific hack. If I didn't know that they lasted as long as they did, I wouldn't believe it. And I made a video about selling the camp last year, but we decided not to sell it last year. And now I'm saying, well, maybe another year, who knows. We're just kind of attached to the place, and it is nice having all 7 cottages and just filling them with friends when the family's here. Everybody their own cottage. Just couldn't have that otherwise. And I'm not sure how much these cottages actually have value in terms of as a business, because they are kind of obsolete in some ways in terms of what people expect. So who knows, maybe a year from now we'll sell it, maybe not. You can see the shutters are closed on this one because even though today is August the 2nd, there won't be anybody staying in this one for the rest of the season, so we shuttered it up already. And here's a couple of shots walking around the camp and showing the rest of the cottages. I'm sure we will have to sell it eventually, probably next year. And I've got a few more videos I shot in this camp linked right here, right now.